Hey guys, Greg and Chris here. Today we're going to talk about exercise beyond the physical realm. All right, Greg, so obviously with exercise and stuff, it's obviously very physical. They always say blood, sweat, tears and stuff like that, but a lot of athletes that I run into, they seem that they don't realize how emotional it is to them. What do you see kind of in the realm of exercise and fitness that athletes should really be able to learn from, emotionally, spiritually wise from that?
Well, I think we all started working out because we wanted to get bigger. We wanted to look a certain way. The aesthetics were important to us at one time, and they still may be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're moving freely and you're doing it the right way, when you're doing the stuff like our dynamic mobility or our athletic conditioning, it's pretty much a free flow. You watch an animal run around and they don't think. Little kids, they run around, they fall, they tumble, they don't get hurt. Why? Because they're not thinking. They're not worried about perception. They're not worried about how does this look to this person or that. They're out there to move because it's free. It's something we were born to do. Somehow we get stuck in this treadmill society, this treadmill, sitting all day, and then we have to have a regimen in all of our movement. It's a treadmill, it's stationary machines.
Reps, sets.
You got it. And what this does, it leads to robotic movement, and there's no flow to the movement. There's different stages in movement. You have the physical, which is important, but then there's also the mental aspect of it. Does it clear your mind? Because if it doesn't, then you need to either find something else to do or do it a different way, because the mind is really a powerful tool, or it's an anchor. And it's up to us what we do with the mind. Then there's a third realm, which is the spirit. I'm a big believer, and whether you believe in a God or not, there is some higher power moving us around. Everyone, you hear athletes talk about the zone. What is the zone? What exactly is the zone? You don't put your finger on the zone. It's because you're moving, you're not thinking. You're moving and doing because your motor patterns are set up where you've learned to move so freely and so easily that you forget yourself. And isn't that what it's about? Shouldn't this stuff be enjoyable and not a regimen? Brushing our teeth is a regimen. It's pretty much what we have to do.
Yeah.
Changing our underwear, we have to do it, or some of us have to do it.
Optional.
But the physical part of it, if we're going to do this, let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's where the spirit comes in. That free-flowing movement. I watch kids that I've trained. You've had it the same way, where you've trained people, the love of the movement. They can't wait to do it. They can't wait. They're in the moment, being in present, right? We always talk, what is the here and now? That's where we need to all live.
Yeah.
Especially when we're moving. Screw work. Screw all the other stuff in our lives that maybe will bog you down. You have to go to work, and sometimes it's not enjoyable. Movement? No. You choose to be there, then be there and be in that moment. Have fun. That's the spiritual part of it, and that's ultimately where we want ourselves, and we want everybody that enjoys our programs.
Yeah. I really realize when the people I train, athletes, non-athletes, women, male, it doesn't really matter. The people who make the most progress are the people who just literally show up every day. I tell people, if you can make it through the door, that's 80% of it's complete. If you make it in the door, and it's funny because we talk about this being spiritual or more of a mental part of it. A lot of the times, the first thing I see with people, and I hate it, is when their life gets busy. Stress, kids, work. What's the first thing they do? They quit their gym membership. They stop working out. And then what tends to happen? Their stress that is normally here, but kind of gets balanced out, with the workout. Now their workout's completely gone. It just has no limit. And then what happens when you stop working out? You stop eating good. You stop, sleeping well. You're probably using that time, because you're going to use that time, you put it back into work, which is the problem, essentially. And now you're going to get more stressed out. You're not going to sleep well. You're not eating well, and all that's, playing into a physical part of your body. You're not burning the calories. You're not letting your mind, like you said, rest. So it's a downfall, and that I think people need, because it's not tangible. It's not this weight on the bar. It's not this amount of reps. It's not this time in a workout. It's not a tangible thing. You can't say, oh, I feel this less stressed than I did yesterday or whatever. People don't really respect it as much. Right. What do you think as far as athletes, beginning, intermediate, doesn't really matter. What kind of mindset should people kind of come into the gym or a workout or something with, let's say a couple different options. Let's say you have someone coming in and it's just a tough workout on the board. What kind of mindset should they have for that?
Mindset is, I am here now. You can only be here now. Mm-hmm. We tell this to clients all the time. So when they start crying about their kids or work and how miserable their boss is and everything, shut it down, because that perpetuates on itself. Bad energy perpetuates. Good energy perpetuates and feeds on itself. Yeah. So you want that good energy. So here now, this is what we're here to do. And inevitably, you go through a half-hour workout and you clear your mind, and all of a sudden that thing that really bothered you maybe took 2 steps down. Yeah. It's not that important all of a sudden to you. Yeah. Or you just say, screw it, and that's where we need to be. We control very, very little in our lives. If you start thinking about what we truly control, we try to control things, which then we run into a problem, but we control very little. But the things we can control is what's in here. Mm-hmm. Everything, our happiness, everything else stems from here. Nothing external can bring you happiness. Mm-hmm. It's all perception and how you feel about yourself in that moment. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. You owe it to friends. Everyone, your workmates, to treat yourself well. Treat yourself well, take care of yourself physically, which inevitably should take care of yourself mentally, spiritually. You're a better person to be around, good energy.
Let's say somebody who, they listen to this and they may say, okay, I've kind of thought about it. I've heard that from different people, but I just can't buy into it. How should they kind of start? Is there material they can go read, or is there something that they can kind of do, maybe meditate, yoga, things like that kind of may help, or maybe what should they think about? Because someone wants to maybe think about something, which it's counterintuitive because we tell you not to think, so they want to think about not thinking. But what can someone do if they're trying to get started to work on more of the mental aspect of fitness?
Sure. Well, I think you said it. Show up. Sometimes it's hard to show up. You're beat at the end of the day. Yes, show up and do this workout. Show up and take this run with this group. Show up. Mm-hmm. It always gets better once you're there. But if you let yourself get pulled in and sucked into that bad energy, it's bad. Here's another one. Spend some time alone. Whether it's 5 minutes. Some people, well, I can't. I'm running around with kids. Take 5 minutes. Mother Teresa could find 5 minutes, and that was the busiest woman I've ever heard about. Yeah. Right? Take 5 minutes, 10, 15. If you can take a half hour, take it, no stimulus. Shut the nonsense down. Shut all the electronics off. Spend some quiet time. Meditate, pray, do what you want to do. Shut it all down. Let your body and your mind shut off. Yeah. Then come back into the mess, and all of a sudden things are a little less hectic.
Yep. Couple sources I would say, and those are some great things too. Another person that's very, very busy, Tony Robbins. He talks about that being his morning ritual. Every morning he takes 5 minutes where he's thankful for things in his life, where he thinks about people in his life, and he just kind of meditates. He'll also do some stuff with his breathing and things like that. Which you can look that up online. Another great one, and we talked about this before, was Mark Divine. Sure. I think that guy, if you can't listen to a former Marine, Navy SEAL, I think that's if he can't convince you, no one can. And how he tells you, respect the mind, respect the now, and respect your body, the flow. And those are great sources. Another good one, I don't know the author, but it's a book, Unplugged. Is a good one, and it talks about technology. And we're always, and I think that's the problem, we're always plugged in somewhere. Yeah. Like you said, whether it's kids, whether it's an email, whether it's a text, whether it's TV, we're always plugged in. It's funny, and we just had a storm here in Florida, so your power's out for a little while, and you all of a sudden you have to read. You're not allowed. You can't be on your phone. TV's not on, and you're like, what do I do? But it's way more peaceful. Yeah. You're peaceful. It's calm. It's not hustle and bustle. You're taking some time, and then your technology gets turned back on, and you're like, oh yeah, the technology again. But you clear your mind. I don't think we, as a whole, people really do that anymore. So, right. But it's very important.
Process, right? Stay in the process. And you hear this all the time. I think people kind of say, oh yeah, process. No, stay in the process. The journey is the enjoyable part, mm-hmm. right? The process, to me, is the enjoyable part. With all the hundreds of athletes we train, I'm constantly beating into them when they start mentioning numbers or somewhere they want to be. Mm-hmm. Stay here now, but stay here, enjoy this process. And if you do that, staying in multiple processes, inevitably you'll get your best result down the road. But if you worry about the result during the process, all you do is strap an anchor to yourself. Yeah. I've seen it with athletes. I've seen it. Tennis athletes are some of the worst. Lacrosse athletes, some of the worst. They're hearing from the outside, got to be here, got to run this fast, you got to do this, you got to be at this camp. Man, life is short. Yeah. Enjoy this process. Everything you do, enjoy it, stay in it. The results will be there, wherever they may be. They're going to be at a maximum level if we can just stay in the moment. Mm-hmm.
It's very important, like you said, to show up day by day and not think about it too much. And as a high-level athlete, you do have to listen to what you're going on. I mean, you take any high-level athlete in any sport, they have to be at these camps. They have to work out. They have to practice. They can't just be like, I want to sit on the couch and think they're going to be the best athlete in the world. That's not going to happen. But when you start listening too much out, you're not focusing too much in. You hear what this guy's doing, hear what this guy's doing. There's a really great picture I seen. It was back in the Olympics with Michael Phelps. He was swimming, and he was first, and the guy in second was looking at him. And it said, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. So that guy's watching what he's doing while Michael Phelps is just worried about himself. Sure. And who knows, I don't know the guys personally. I'm sure both of them are very high level. Obviously they're in the Olympics, so they're the highest level ever. Michael Phelps, 20-something medals he's got. So these guys are high level, but it's the truth. If you're always focused on what someone else is doing, how are you going to get yourself better? Sure. If you're focused on what that guy's lifting, how many exercises he's doing, what this guy's doing, you're not going to reach your full potential. Yeah. I mean, it's pointless. If you're going against somebody in a competition, and especially in weightlifting, and you hear your opponent has lifted this X amount of weight, that's a very strict numbers game. But at the end of the day, if you can't, the great thing about weightlifting is you get it or you don't. Yeah. Yeah. Great thing with sports. And I think a lot of people don't have that competition to push them where you win or you lose. There's nothing wrong with being, losing. I mean, it teaches you lessons. Right. It's when you don't have that, and it's okay being mediocre, and you can kind of constantly not have to push for something. That's when people kind of lose the edge, so to speak. So I think that's a really good way to kind of focus, but not out, put those blinders on and stay focused. Sure. So.
Well, on a final note, I'd say a key word for everybody, I know it has been for me, is surrender. And not surrender as weakness, surrender as all-powerful. Mm-hmm. Whether you're surrendering to Jesus, you're surrendering to the moment. I've had horrible workouts, horrible days, and I've learned to surrender to it and move on. I've had great days, and just as important, not to dwell on those great days necessarily, but know tomorrow's another day, stay in the moment, and if you don't attach, attachment is a bad thing. Connection's a great thing. Connection is only to good things that can benefit us, mm-hmm. right? Attachment is those anchors, and we all do it, but the less you can attach to the real highs and the real lows and just stay in that moment.
What would you say there? That's a good point. I don't want to kind of point that out to anybody. What is the difference between attachment and connection?
Connection may be to your children and the way you feel about your children. Connection can be between you and the higher being, right? Attachments are, I need this car. I need to buy this car. I need to buy this home. I need this outfit. Those are external things that we're looking to draw to us, and then somehow that's supposed to bring us from the outside in, bring us happiness. Happiness all comes from in here. It comes from the inside. So some of the poorest people I've ever known and been around are some of the happiest people. They're ecstatic about little things.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't worry about the big house, the big car, the $300 shoes, or anything else. Those are attachments. Those are anchors in our life. It's not bad to have those necessarily, but as soon as you rely on them for your happiness, you're going to be unhappy.
Yep. Anything else you want to close with? Anything else you want to maybe touch on that we haven't today, or any sources or anything you want to kind of promote or talk about, have maybe athletes kind of look into if they want to?
Sure. There's a couple books like Dancing Mind. It's by a guy, Dr. Lynch, and a Chinese gentleman, and I cannot even pronounce his name, but it's Dancing Body. Yeah, okay. Anyway, look up Dr. Lynch, and it's great stuff. He's written a couple books like that. He's written The Champion's Way, I believe.
Okay.
And a lot of the Eastern philosophy stuff, I really, the Catholic in me really is drawn to the Eastern philosophy ways. You read books like Agakure and stuff like that. But they're all what we talked about. All of these books are about staying in the moment, not having attachments, and really kind of enjoying what's in front of us all the time that we choose not to see. We only see what we want to see, our perception, but there's all kinds of things to enjoy and to suck in this short life of ours. So yeah, it's endless, the supply of resource and all of that stuff, but mostly, live your life, stay in the moment, take a walk. Take a walk and just look around instead of driving in a car one day. Take a walk and look at stuff moving, the animals, the trees, everything around us. There's a lot of great stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely. And on that note, put your phone down, like look at it with your eyes. There's nothing wrong with taking pictures, but get off your phone for once. Go around, ride a bike. I mean, hell, it's not that hard. It's really not hard. I mean, there's parks, there's trails. I mean, you go, you put your phone in your pocket, and you look. You maybe walk with, a loved one or a friend, go out fishing, go out hunting, things that you're away from people, you're, on your own, like you said, just go out on your own in the nature.
Disconnect.
Yeah, disconnect.
Get with yourself.
Yeah, get away from things. That's kind of the best way, like I said earlier, about as far as where you can learn from. Mark Devine with SEAL Fit, he's a really great, I like how he connects that in with the fitness.
Yeah.
It's not so far, hippy-dippy where you're like, that's a little too far for me, but it connects into it, and you see where it plays a role and why it plays a role. He has a great, some stuff on YouTube with the box breathing, with the meditation and stuff where you're getting your breath, and that's a whole nother episode that we can do on how important breathing is, but that's another part that does affect you psychologically, physically, and things too. So. And
why? Because breathing comes from inside. It's not external.
Yeah.
Your breath comes from inside. So when you focus on what's inside, geez, it's amazing what starts to melt away.
Yeah.
Stress. You're right.
So. I mean, that's pretty much everything I got. If you guys got anything, you can always send us a comment, message. Hashtag #AskAlpha if you want to post a question or something, and we can always make an episode. We look forward to doing these every once in a while, shooting for, every few times a week or maybe a few times a month, top questions you may have. So feel free to comment and have a good one, guys.